Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Big Apple Hockey. This is more of a special episode that we're hosting today, since we're going to have a guest on this morning, and it's always great to join everybody. I, of course, am your host, Mark Williams. Shout out to my former teammate, Timmy K, in the house. He's being represented today. And, of course, the man from the hockey news, Mr. Anthony LaRocco.
Good morning, Mark. I'm excited to have Islander prospect Alex Jeffries on the show in about 15 minutes. But it's anytime we can get a guest on is a good thing. So looking forward to it.
I always say I'm always looking forward to the next guest. There's a couple other ones I want to reach out to, see if we can get them on. That's always a good thing. And look, it's great. We do this for the love of hockey. That's why we do this. And that's why we enjoy doing this all the time. By the way, welcome in to the 11,000 subscribers that we have now, which is always a great thing. Make sure you're hitting that like button and make sure you are hitting the bell, liking, and subscribing. All right, Anthony, let's go to the A block, because one of the topics I talked about this week, it was going to be a somewhat big topic. We kind of knew it was coming, especially, but it seems like the end of the identity line, and I'm mistaken, Anthony. There's something else I have to say. Happy birthday, Adam Pelech, today. Adam Pelech, it is your birthday, August 16th. But the Islanders not likely to re-sign Cal Clutterbuck and Matt Martin. Is this the end? And well, this is the end of the identity line. Is it the end? And what is exactly their legacy, Anthony?
Yeah, I certainly think it is the end of the line for them, which isn't a surprise. We kind of spoke about this, really at the end of the season.
And the beginning of last season.
Yeah, Lou Lamoriello was pretty open about it when he just spoke about it recently. He said that, sometimes you have to make tough decisions and you have to move on from people. So, I mean, he didn't totally close the door. He's like, with guys like that, he's like, I'm never going to say never, but yes, it does appear that both of them will be elsewhere, or maybe not playing at all when the season comes in October. So does look like they're turning a different page. And as for what they mean, they truly were the best fourth line in hockey for a decent stretch when the media during that 14-15 playoff season kind of coined them as that. And they had a good, I would say a solid 3-4 year run where they were that best fourth line in hockey, and other teams tried to mimic what the Islanders had in them. Guys that just were responsible defensively and they just hit everybody. Anytime they touch the puck, Martin and Clutterbuck go 1 and 2 all time in hits. So, when they were in their prime playing in the Coliseum, when that line got out there, the second one of them threw a hit, the other guy came in and threw a hit, and then Cizikas, with the third member on that line, would throw a hit, and each time the fans in the Coliseum would get louder and louder. Momentum is certainly a real thing in hockey, and during those playoff runs and even during the regular season, when that line got going and they were hitting everybody, the energy was palpable in the Coliseum. So they certainly brought a lot to the franchise, a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears. And like I said previously, when we kind of discussed this, they'll be missed. They're solid Islanders that epitomize what it means to be a New York Islander. A lot of good work in the community, and they gave it all every single night. So,
Fighting a bee, Anthony?
That's bothering me. Actually, Lou sent that yellow jacket to prevent me from speaking about this. But no. Like I said, they were just great Islanders, and they had a lot of good moments. They weren't just guys that just threw hits. They played crucial roles on the penalty kill throughout the years, and they even scored some big memorable goals too.
Yeah, I got to tell you, for years with the Islanders, I used to kind of mockingly say when people would say, "Oh, they're the best fourth line in hockey," I went, "Yeah, too bad it's their third line," because everybody always billed them as the best fourth line in hockey, but they were really utilized a lot. No, the last few years, when those Stanley Cup runs, they were the best fourth line in hockey easily, and but that was their thing. They could be used as a third line. They were that good at shutting down opponents. I know you can look at some of the stats and go, "Well, this number isn't that great." This number, but no, they were a terror to play against. Ask anybody that actually played against them. Ask Sidney Crosby, who played against them and was swept in the first round and lost another first round series in 6 games. And primarily it was either that line or the third line of JG Pajot that shut him down. But yeah, Anthony, as you were saying, they brought it, and they always were able to get everybody, just the entire Coliseum got louder and louder. It was like the only other it's actually no comparison whatsoever to that Steve Webb 2001 series. It's no comparison to that, because that was one guy. This line shut down players, and they did it really in multiple different series. They were effective against multiple different teams. The Islanders, the Capitals. Sorry, not the Islanders, obviously. The Penguins, the Capitals. They never got to play the Rangers in the playoffs, but I mean, Matt Martin on Jacob Trouba, you remember that hit in the shortened season a couple years ago. That was something that didn't sit well for a little bit. But I mean, these guys, and the thing is, they were split up at one point when Matt Martin went to Toronto.
Yep.
And Matt Martin, great personality. One of those things that I have to get done is a bunch of funny hockey commercials, and there's one of them that he did with Mitch Marner.
Yeah,
absolutely outstanding. And you got to show his personality. He's got a great personality, but you thought the line might get better at the time, maybe conventionally speaking, because they were throwing out Jason Chimera on that line. It wasn't the same. They bring Martin back, and they hit a whole new gear as soon as Barry Trotz came there, because he utilized them pretty much the best way any coach had. He got him to be a scoring line, and that was what was even more dangerous about them. Once they were starting putting more pucks in the net, like Casey Cizikas almost had 20 goals. Like, that was amazing. And
yeah, he had 19, or he actually might have hit 20.
I think he might have actually. You know what? I think he might have hit 20.
And then Cal Clutterbuck had 15 goals during the 15-16 season. So, like, these guys had years where they, like I said before, they weren't just plugs. They did their job defensively, and they chipped in. So, and the one thing that's actually underrated about Clutterbuck is Clutterbuck actually has a good wrist shot. He's got a good release. I've seen him beat goalies with it many times. So, they weren't just one-dimensional players, and when you put them all together as a trio, that's when they really were at their best.
And by the way, Christy is saying this right here. Nino Ryder for Clutterbuck actually turned out well for both sides, and it did. Although Minnesota ended up with Victor Rask at the end of all of it, but it didn't win as much. The Islanders, they got the most out of Clutterbuck, and that was, at first, I wasn't sure if that was exactly going to be a great trade for the Islanders, but yeah, they got well over 10 years out of a player. You'll take that and you'll run, especially when you have a guy with the production of Clutterbuck. And again, both these guys were terrors to play against, and defensemen that were going back to play the puck, they knew they were getting hit, and they were getting hit hard.
Yes.
So, now there is a video tribute that I have to make. I was gathering up a little bit more footage about them, but unfortunately, the Sam Rosen thing took over when we did Thursdays. Chris, how do they stack up against Maltby, Draper, and I think we said it was McCarty that was on that line.
I mean, I think they're pretty similar. I mean, they might Maltby and Draper might have been. I think we're a little better offensively. I mean, I'd have to really look at the numbers, but that's my first take on it. But I do think Martin and Clutterbuck were more physical than Draper and Maltby.
Chris Draper, I think, had a couple really good seasons. Yeah, he had a 40-point season, 24 goals, 16
assists.
I'm
saying a lot of like 30 points, 35, 40 points. That's what I'm saying. I think they were a little bit better offensively, but I think in the terms of the physicality of it, I don't. You're going to be. I mean, let's like I just said earlier, Martin and Clutterbuck and Martin, I think are 1 and 2 all time in hits. So I mean, there's that. They don't think it gets any more physical than both of them.
And even though you want to say hits, they didn't start recording them till 2007, 2008 season. But this one, I mean, these guys were worthy of it. I mean, the first guy to 4,000 hits was Cal Clutterbuck. And that's kind of saying something. There's plenty of guys around the league that like to throw the body. Clutterbuck, I mean, yeah, they were still trying to throw the body as much as they could. But Anthony, one stat I just can't, I boggled my mind a little bit, that in their 2 conference finals runs, both Martin and Clutterbuck had over 90 hits each. Mm-hmm. Martin in 1 year had 103. And like that's just wow when you think about it. Like that's a lot of hits.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, they went out and they hit anything that moved.
Yeah. I think
I'll say this. Like I said, Lou didn't close the door completely. I mean, it does like at the beginning of the show. I do think it's the end of the road and they're moving on. But I wouldn't be surprised if, closer to training camp, he brought one of them back, just as have as an extra body in the room. I wouldn't be surprised. And my guess is if I had to choose one, I would say it would be Matt Martin. I mean, Matt Martin is, he's a permanent Long Island resident. I mean, he has his home here. He has 2 young kids. He's still doing his Matt Martin hockey youth camp this summer. I think he's still in September. I still think he's doing the poker foundation that he does every September. So he's going to be around. So I don't think that Martin has any real desire to kind of move away from his family and play somewhere else. And I don't see him going to the Rangers or the Devils. So that's why I think, Martin probably wants to come back. Clutterbuck, I mean, he lives here too, but I don't know if he's as married to the island as Martin is. So that's why if I had to pick one that comes back, I would say it would be Martin.
I agree with you. I think if I had to pick one of the 2, it's probably going to be Martin. He's got the age advantage because he is 2 years younger. But I do wonder, though, because Clutterbuck does have a young family. He's got a home in Long Island. If he feels like uprooting everybody, that's why I think there is the possibility, I do think, for him to go to, say, the Rangers or the Devils, or staying as local as he can and as close. Philadelphia could be a possibility. Boston.
I don't think either Martin or Clutterbuck would ever sign with the Rangers.
I didn't think that about Ray Ferraro, and Ray Ferraro did.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but I feel like it's a little different with them.
And Rich Pilon signed with the Rangers.
Yeah.
So I mean, actually, I think he was claimed on waivers.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, but it's not likely to happen. But there are those players that manage to play for both teams and are a little bit more of a surprise whenever they do. But Anthony, this line, did so much yeoman's work for the Islanders, and can't say enough about it. I mean, I just looked up Casey Cizikas' stats yet again from
He reached
2019, I
20
think it
goals.
was when he had the 19 goals. It
No,
was
20 goals. He did reach
20
20.
goals. That
He
was
did
it,
reach.
20. But he was a plus 23 that year. For your
Yeah.
fourth liner to be a fourth line center to be a plus 23, that's incredible. And
I don't.
for that matter, Clutterbuck was a plus 14. Yeah,
That was
a
different.
plus 6 he was. I mean, that's still incredible. So
Yeah.
I'll take that. Was he plus 20? Now I gotta check. Now I gotta double check that stat again. Yeah, plus 22 for them that year. So but we gotta be excited because we're gonna be moving on from one legacy. Let's move on to another one right now that could be forming as we speak. Let's bring in Islanders prospect Alex Jeffries. Alex, how are you doing today?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, thanks
for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. And of course, as the quote that I have right here, I gotta represent Coach K in the house. So
Love Coach K.
yeah, says how much you love his skates too.
Yeah, I love him. Love him. Anyone who's buddies with him, I like him a lot. So he's the best.
Well, first things first,
You
Anthony.
you made the jump. For Bridgeport last season, the levels of jump between, let's say, going to the AHL, the NHL, junior to the AHL, NCAA to the AHL. Were you able to is it palpable? Were you able to see the difference going to play in the AHL as opposed to playing college hockey? Did you feel the intensity or the fast pace of the game?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty easy transition for me. Just for me personally, going to Bridgeport, all the coaches and my teammates were super kind of open for me and made it really easy for. I think that's the biggest thing when you get there, just like having to meet the new guys and get acclimated. And then once you get on the ice, it's a little bit different. It's faster. It's better pace. The guys are a bit stronger, but um, I think it's just getting acclimated, kind of get used to the new systems and everything and the way of doing things. Kind of the pro life of not going to class, not going to school. That was the bigger thing for me. And then once you get on the ice, I thought it was a smooth transition for me.
Alex, I want to ask you about and take me back to October 7th of 2020. You were drafted during the COVID draft where everybody's doing this all virtually. Where were you that day, and what was it like when the Islanders took you in the 4th round?
Yeah, so I was at school at Merrimack because it was the COVID year, obviously, like you said. So it was I was already at school, kind of training for the season, and a couple of my buddies who were also in the draft, we watched it just in their apartment, and yeah, it was a cool day. It was a lot of fun. Definitely a different day than I think most prospects get to experience, but it was fun. We just watched it on TV and kind of just sitting there waiting, watching, and got the call. It was a super fun day and. Definitely always remember it. No, cool memory.
So, Alex, a little bit of a fun fact here. Before you played for Merrimack, you played for the Gunnery prep school in Connecticut, correct?
Yes.
So one of my actual best friends played at the Gunnery, and I looked it up before. He's 5th all time in Gunnery scoring, and you're 2nd. So I thought that was pretty interesting. His name was Greg Holt, but yeah. So what was it like going to having that transition of playing prep school before going right into the NCAA? Do you feel like that helped you be able to get your game to be able to play at a school like Merrimack?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my plan all along was I was drafted by Dubuque in the USHL, and when I went back to school for my senior year, that was the plan, kind of with me and the coaches at Merrimack to go to Dubuque after and play a year in the USHL, and then um, yeah, I just had a really good year, and they felt I was ready, so they brought me right in right away, and it was a big jump. It was not a lot of kids do it, and definitely a big jump and kind of a learning curve. But it helped too with me going in the COVID year, so we had about 2-3 months of like training camp, getting ready, practicing with the team. So it was different than most years, where you come in and you're playing like a month after you get to school. I had a little bit more time too, but that was definitely a big jump. But I'm glad I made it.
Alex, speaking about big jumps, your biggest jump probably was your junior year, your third year. I don't know which one, just in case you were redshirted. But your third year, you went and scored 41 points, 14 goals, 27 assists. Here's the line right here. And your senior year was absolutely fantastic too, with 23 points in 22 games. What just clicked that year for you?
Yeah, I think a lot of things, just learning some things about myself physically and kind of taking my game to a new level. And then we kind of clicked as a team too. That was a great year for us. And got to play with Matty Capone, who we had great chemistry together. He's an Oilers draft pick. And so we clicked together and had a great year together. But I think I just learned a lot of things physically, kind of did some different things in the off season to take my game kind of to a new level. And saw the results for sure. And yeah, it was a cool year. Cool last couple of years. We had a good couple of years there.
Now, Alex, what has been your experience with, if you have spoken to him, Lou Lamoriello? Like, has he, when you signed, did he tell you like what he kind of wants to see from you, and maybe a timeline of when you can make the jump to the NHL, or just what was it like interacting with him? Because you hear so many good things about him, that being such a good person, but also at the same time he has this aura behind him. Have you had many conversations with him since joining the organization?
Just a couple. Definitely a super nice guy, really respectful and kind of different than what you expect. He's a super nice guy and nothing real. Yeah, no, he's a really nice guy and just treated me really respectfully and nothing like super kind of, it's just more of like, hey, like this is kind of what we think of you. This is how you kind of fit into what we're doing, and more of just like, hey, like, it's everyone's got to earn their spot, earn their place. So that was kind of the message I took away, and I'm just looking forward to doing that, hopefully.
Alex, speaking about which, you're looking forward to your first camp. How exactly are you preparing for it? And has the team communicated anything of what they want you to be working on?
Yeah, nothing specific. I've been training a lot at school. We work out all the time, a couple times a day, and we've been going for a little bit now. So it's been good. Good summer, good off season, and I've been lucky to be healthy all off season too. So gotten a lot of good work in, and just really working on the finer points of my game and kind of things that I think I need to improve on. And um, yeah, so just excited to go into camp here a couple weeks away.
Now, going into training camp, do you know any of the players like on the Islanders that are going to be at camp? Are you familiar with any of them? Have you, spoken to any of them? Or like when you're going into training camp, is it basically kind of just walking in without really having met of any of the guys?
Yeah, so I went down to the island for a couple days. I think it was 2 weeks ago now, and some of the guys were skating there, and just got to meet some of them, skate with a couple of them, and we were on the ice with I think there was 10, 12 guys out there, so it was cool. I got to meet a bunch of them, and they're all super nice to me, super good guys. So it'll be good to see some friendly faces going in the camp.
Nice.
Yeah.
And do you have any questions about the other teams? Massachusetts, and do you want to get into that?
Oh, yeah. So, Alex, we do a fun thing here on the show. Kind of created like this, state type wars type thing. I used to roll hockey back in the day, and that was a thing. They'd have like state war tournaments. So, I made up just a hypothetical roster of NHL players from Massachusetts, and other states, and kind of put them together, and we asked like, who do you think would win in a 7-game series? So, just have a little bit of a fun here with you, Mark, if you want to show them the matchup
Right
here, and who you thinks would take this in a 7-game series if they were to meet. So you got Massachusetts right there, and
That's
then
a pretty good lineup right there. I like that.
Yeah.
And now Team Minnesota. I got to move the banner for that one though.
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I'm going Massachusetts. Just I'm a little biased. So I like the Massachusetts.
There you
team,
go. Yeah.
You could go either way, but I like Mass there.
Yeah. Do you growing up in Mass, have you come into contact with any NHL players that are from Massachusetts that you've met over the years or played with, skated with?
Yeah, I ski with a bunch of them. The Bruins have, like, it's a little different than what the Islanders do. They have a skate at their practice ice, and it's in Boston somewhere, and they just let anyone who's signed in the NHL come out, or in the AHL. So I skate with a bunch of those guys, and um, there's a lot of guys from Mass out there, so I know a bunch of them. I skate with Jordan Harris all the time, and we've gotten pretty close over the years. And so yeah, I
Okay.
know a bunch of the guys. A lot of good players from around here.
Alex, now have you talked to any more
Yep.
players from your draft class? I know you're talking about your teammate Matty because he's drafted by the Oilers, and just kind of getting their experience with different organizations.
Yeah, I haven't spoken. I don't know too many people from my draft class, maybe a couple, but just talking to some of the other guys from Mass that have done it, and maybe they're in the NHL, or they're in the AHL, whatever it may be, and just kind of picking their brain, what they think, and how training camp goes. Because I've never been to one, obviously, so they give me some good advice. But really, I'm just excited to see what happens, and I'm looking forward to just getting there, and hopefully, doing my best, and we'll see what happens.
Now, Alex, one of the things that the media will talk about in regards to the Islanders organization is, in terms of the prospect depth, they're maybe not as strong as some of the other NHL teams, just from, kind of trading some first overall picks throughout the years. But when you look at Bridgeport's roster for next season, you're going to have yourself, William Dufour came highly touted, and, Matthew Maggio. I don't know if you've spoken to any of those guys, but you guys think, like, take any in that, you're the new wave of prospects coming up that can help one Port win a championship, and then second, maybe all you guys can come up together through the ranks and be on the Islanders roster in a couple of years to come.
Yeah, I think it's all our goal to make the team this year, and that's kind of what we're thinking. I met them in Bridgeport. They're both super cool guys, and they were real nice to me when I came in as a new guy. So I think we're all just kind of going about it the same way. We all have high expectations, and just looking forward to hopefully making a good mark and see what happens. But they're both really good guys, and looking forward to playing with them in the future too.
Yeah, because that's always special when an entire sort of class just comes up to the NHL together. Because I know Ryan Callahan talked about that. Ryan Miller talked about that with the Buffalo Sabres when that happened. And so it's always a great thing seeing the new blood and the new class coming up. And you got another question?
Yeah, I got one more question for you, Alex. Just for our viewers, and if you want to just kind of describe your game, like, for instance, is there one player on the Islanders, if you had to compare yourself, that you think you play a similar game? It seems like you're a pure goal scorer. I know Brock Nelson is known for having one of the best releases on the team. Is that a guy you kind of mimic your game on, or is there another particular player that you see that your game is similar to?
It's tough to say. I would say I don't know if there's a guy in the Islanders I look at and say, oh, I like him, I play like him. I always, whenever someone asks me, I say Oliver Bjorkstrand.
Okay,
good one.
It's kind of the guy I like. I see myself in him, and hopefully can get there someday. But no, I don't think there's anyone on the Islanders I necessarily say we play the same exact way. But definitely see some parts of my game and guys, and hopefully I can be a part of the team.
Well, he's a good player. He had a couple of good years for Columbus, and then I believe he's in Seattle now. But that's good to know. He's a good player. He's got a good shot. So that's certainly a good thing for Islander fans to be excited about.
And Alex, just to show you this is the old T-shirt from our playing days. And if you could see, let's see if I could get the middle of that. There's Coach K right in the middle, right there.
That's
awesome. Right above the H. There he is.
That's awesome.
So, Alex, thanks for coming on and joining us and taking some time out of your day. It's great that we finally had you on, and we can't wait to have you on as a New York Islander.
Awesome. Appreciate it,
right.
guys.
Thank you very much.
Good camp. Best of luck at training camp, and I wish you the best this season.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you.
Great to have Alex Jeffries joining us today. He was absolutely fantastic. Good kid. You got to be rooting for him. and hopefully, like I said, hopefully makes a good impression at training camp. And Anthony, it's great that you mentioned. Um, Anthony, it's great that you mentioned about getting that draft class together and seeing that future blood because you hear a lot about Maggio, you hear a lot about DeFore, and then you get Alex, and he put up such great numbers his last 2 seasons at Merrimack. And if all of that could develop, just getting the player up in the NHL. I mean, we talk about the Islanders' age increasing, and then you get to get the new blood that's in there. By the way, Anthony, do you know the Islanders are the 5th oldest team in the NHL right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna slowly over time. They're gonna get younger. Some of these youth pieces are gonna come up, like hopefully Alex Jeffries, Cole Eiserman. Some of the older players on the team will age out. But a lot of is made of the age. I really don't put too much stock into it. There's not much difference between the age of the Islanders at 5th. And if you go down the list, it's like, for instance, I'm just getting like 29 and a half. And then like 10 spots down, there's a team that's, at 28, 27. It's not really, to me, I don't put a lot of stock into the whole age factor of a team.
The real issue I think we're going to start counting is when you get more players past the age. I think we're going to have to up it to like 32, but it depends on the player. Because obviously the oldest team in the league, take a guess.
Penguins.
I believe they're number 1, and Edmonton, I think, is number 2. So how about that? Or it's flip flop, guys. I have to check where the stats are on that right now. But once again, guys, we are going to take a quick moment to just actually, we don't have to do a DraftKings thing today. I forgot about that because, you know what?
All right.
We're going to put it on the audio anyway. So going to take a quick moment for DraftKings, and then we're going to do a quick bar talk. And we got a brand new game we're going to be introducing to you guys today. Hockey fans light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. If that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sports app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN.
Shot. This is the easiest I've ever to answer.
I say beer. I can't even begin to describe.
I'm actually going to go crazy. I'm going to buy everybody around on this one. So welcome back, everybody, to Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drinking. So confident you're buying around, so have a beer, or, oh, God, I need a shot. I mean, if you need a shot right now, 9:30 in the morning, you're probably my golf game, because usually that hasn't been going well. Sometimes I'll do one at the turn, but I will not be having really any alcohol for the next month. So
why is that?
Doing a little cleanse.
Oh.
So I can't wait for that. But you guys, I just can't wait to go to work tonight at a bar. So, anyway, play along down in the comments below. And of course, guys, Big Apple Hockey shirts and trucker hats are available in the link below. Make sure you click that. Let's start with the Rangers on this one. Then we're going to go right back to the Islanders again. And Anthony, the Rangers enter the season slated with Zach Jones and Jacob Trouba being their third pair defensemen. The Rangers need to add a veteran to a PTO.
Yeah, I'm gonna go round here. They don't have great depth outside of their six. Matthew Robertson, I feel like, has stalled a little bit. So you don't really want to be relying on him. I know they brought back Chad Woodwheel he could be a 7th D. But I think, it's good to have healthy competition in camp. And, if they were to bring in a veteran on a PTO, whether, Marco Scandella or, Kevin Shattenkirk or, Justin Schultz, you might as well do it. Because I think some of those guys, maybe not so much Shattenkirk, but I feel like Justin Schultz could still be a useful defenseman, especially in a more offensive role. I also think Scandella is a good veteran who's big, block shots, and physical presence that can still bring a little bit to a team. So, right now, I certainly think the Rangers do need another defenseman going into camp.
You posed this question in our group chat yesterday, and I got to agree with you. And you said the two names that I was going to say, and then I did say to you yesterday. I always liked Marco Scandella's game, but I kind of have this. I have this very big soft spot for Kevin Shattenkirk. The guy wanted to be a New York Ranger, took less money. He came in. It was the end of their run, so it was complete disaster. He was bought out, unceremoniously kind of shipped off, but then he ended up winning a Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning, going on playing a couple different places. So it's like I kind of want to give Shattenkirk another try. And also, there's your pseudo Adam Fox gets injured insurance. Because Shattenkirk could obviously run a power play if Fox got injured, because Eric Gustafson was able to do it for 1 month, and then Eric Gustafson was an abstract disaster after that. So you got to think Shattenkirk would be a good one, but again, Scandella. I'm not a big fan of Justin Schultz. I even when he was at the top of his game with Washington and Pittsburgh, although he wouldn't be a bad option, but I just don't see that. Anthony, let's talk about an Islander who produced very well last year. Kyle Palmieri, 30 goals and 24 assists for 54 points. Kyle Palmieri is going to score 30 goals again.
Yeah, you know what? The thing with Palmieri is over the last couple of years, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He played in all 82 games this past season, and he scored 30 goals, 54 points. He's going to be stapled to Brock Nelson on that second line. Who the third member is, I at this point, I don't know. I would imagine Siplikov has an inside track at it. I think the Lou signed him to be a top 6 forward, so I think he'll be a member on that line. But as long as Palmieri's on that second line, playing with Nelson, and then getting on the top power play unit, and he stays healthy again, I certainly think he could score 30 goals. So I'm actually going to go round on this.
You said the big thing, health. Health is the big thing with Kyle Palmieri. I'll go round on this as well. With the precursor, he has to stay healthy, because that's been his problem, his bugaboo, pretty much almost his entire career after New Jersey, he scored 30 goals, 82 games. When he plays 82 games, he scores 30 goals. He's done it twice in his career, and it was once with Jersey, 30 goals, and once with the Islanders, 30 goals. And he had an 80-game season where he scored 26 and a 74-game season where he scored 27. Last year, 55 games, or 6. Well, I could actually say 2 years ago now. 55 games, 16 goals, 33 points last season, or 22-23. Did it again. And, the guy could produce. He just has to stay healthy.
He's got a good shot. He's got a good release. He's got a good shot, and he's a hard-nosed player too. He'll go to the corners. He's not soft by any means. So, I think as long as he stays healthy, he'll pot 30 goals again.
Anthony, a different variation on a question than I asked on Wednesday's show, but Toronto Maple Leafs former captain, I did say captain on this, John Tavares, fully supports Austin Matthews' captaincy while getting trashed on social media. Stan Fischler trashed him. You didn't think that was going to happen. It just says, how do you describe John Tavares' his captaincy? Failure.
Well,
Tavares was a failure as the Leafs captain, Anthony.
That's where you're wrong, actually. I expected Stan. Wasn't surprised Stan Fischler trashed him, because Stan Fischler gave it to him hard when he left the Islanders.
Okay.
He had some not so kind tweets about it when Tavares left, and in his immediate availability, he really went after Tavares with his question. So I wasn't surprised to see that. But as failure as a Leafs captain, you know what? It's hard to say because yes, the Maple Leafs haven't had much playoff. And the thing was when they signed him, it was expected that he was gonna put them over the edge, combined with all their other young talent, and they were gonna hopefully win a cup in his tenure. And that hasn't happened. They only made it past the first round once. And yes, it was him that scored the game-winning goal that sent them to the second round. But aside from that goal, he wasn't a key contributor really overall. So I'm gonna say beer. I'm not gonna say round because again, it's not all on him of why they only won one playoff series. It's the rest of the team. So that definitely holds weight. But I go back to what I said the other day, and on Jim Behringer's show, actually, I said it. The Maple Leafs didn't have to sign him, and honestly, they shouldn't have signed him. That was the wrong move, and that was Kyle Dubas not being able to help himself because the prize free agent on the market wanted to go home, and he just kind of said, "Okay, yeah, sure, you want to come here, I'll do it." But he didn't need to do that. He should have allocated those dollars differently. But that's hindsight, and you can't do anything about it now. But so yeah, I think the only way to answer this question is really a beer. The one thing I will say though is I do wonder about his future. I don't doubt that he wants to stay in Toronto after his contract expires, but he's getting older, and Toronto might want to go in a different direction. And people are already talking about it, which is crazy to me. But could you imagine if next summer comes, the Maple Leafs don't bring him back, and he ends his career on the island? I mean, after everything that happened, that would just be It would just be such a plot twist of epic proportions.
I think it would be very apropos because, look, first I'm going to say to this, beer, you kind of, I wanted to say shot on this, but Anthony kind of changed my opinion on this a little bit because I was saying he was just a placeholder captain anyway, and you mentioned that he was a captain since 2019, and I'm like, yeah, but they wanted him to be a captain until they could hand over to Matthews. Then Matthews had an incident in Arizona, and they kept Tavares as the captain. And then he is the one that scored the goal to get them into the second round last season, or again 2 seasons ago. Now I gotta stop thinking this season was only 2 months ago. It's now last season. But it is kind of funny, by the way, Anthony. The man has won 2 playoffs series in his career, and both of them he scored the goal in overtime to move them on. Wicked saying right here, the fans that were booing JT hard the years after he left are wanting him to come back are hypocrites. I get the booing the first year, but I don't think we should booing him now. Look, if you want to keep booing him, keep booing him. That's all right. If you're still that hurt about it, go right ahead. Although I still think the Islanders had the last laugh. It's sort of like getting dumped and then watching the person that dumped you be completely alone and becoming a cat lady. And in the meantime, well, that's if you want to be a cat lady, go right ahead, by the way. But I mean, just the Islanders went on, they were much more successful. So yeah, I would take that. And Anthony, this is a question just based off my statistics and my hypothesis about tandem goaltenders and when you add on some more games to them. Boston's Jeremy Swayman, outstanding last year, 25, 10, and 8, a 916 save percentage, a 253 goals against in 44 games. And Anthony, Swayman's going to get the starting job. He's going to get many more games. Swayman's stats are actually going to get worse with more playing time.
I'm going to say shot. I don't think so. I mean, if his save percentage that you just flashed, if it was like 928, 930, I would say yeah, maybe with a more workload now that Allmark's gone, that it will go down. But I don't think so. I think 916. That's what he's really. I think that's what he's really at when he's truly the number one guy. I don't see it. I don't see it going down much more than that. I think Swayman is a very good goalie. I think he's going to be, it's going to be a toss up between him and Hellebuck as Team USA's starter for the Four Nations this coming February. So no, I don't think it will get worse. The question is, when does he sign? He's still unsigned.
Yeah.
Which I thought right after they traded Allmark, I felt that Boston probably would have then made sure they locked him up. It didn't happen yet, but it's really no need for Boston fans to panic because we see this every year. There's always a couple of high profile RFAs that go into September still unsigned. I mean, hell, Cizikas actually missed the beginning portion of the season, so last year. So I think they'll sign him. I am just curious that why it's taken this long, though.
Anthony, I think his numbers are going to drop a little bit. I don't know exactly if it's going to be this season or just for some time because he's going to get a full starter's workload. But that's not going to make it. When I say they're going to get worse, that's why I'm going beer. It doesn't mean that Jeremy Swayman can't handle the workload. He might be able to handle it in spades and be fine. Some guys, they're able to do it, no problem. But and I think his conditioning is going to be just fine. Let me surprise you on this one, Anthony. I start him in the Four Nations over Connor Hellebuck. I'd start him over him because, with all due respect to Connor Hellebuck, hasn't been good in the playoffs. So let's see. And Swayman's been much better. So let's see whether or not that's the thing. I think both goalies are going to get playing time because obviously it's not the Olympics.
This is the thing about the Four Nations face-off is that it's a lot of it's going to depend on how you're playing during the season prior to the tournament. They're not going to make a decision just based on someone's past. I don't envision it happening, but just for instance, if John Gibson comes out this year for Anaheim and is putting up a Vezina style campaign, not only is he going to be on the roster, he might be the starter. So I think a lot of it's still yet to be determined. They're not going to make a decision just based on just someone's past. They're going to base it on how the individual's playing leading up to the tournament.
John Gibson has to be the most frustrated player in the NHL. He came into a team that actually I think they went to the conference finals when he first came into the league in 2015. I believe that was the year that he beat LA in Game 5, and I think they went on to win. I'm doing that by memory, guys. So sorry about that.
John Gibson is a very good goalie, just on a bad team, unfortunately.
And he's been on a bad team since 2018.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his save percentage in 16-17, he had a 924 save percentage. In 17-18, he had a 926 save percentage. Those are outstanding. He was on a good team. And then really ever since 2019, 2020, he's been on a bad team, and his numbers reflect it. But I actually think John Gibson is still a very, very good goaltender.
I do think he is a very good goaltender, and you gotta wonder whether or not he's still they're still trying to trade him. Are they still trying to move on? Is Lucas Dostal ready? And his name has been in more trade rumors than Jacob Chikrin, and that says something. So, yeah, I mean, you gotta hope. It just Pat Verbeek, let the guy know, is he staying or is he going? And I think the answer is, I think he's staying almost out of necessity. I don't think they get a deal that's good enough for him. And he's a veteran goalie, and they know he can handle the spotlight down there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was the end of Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk. We gauge our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. I have a brand new game that I'm going to be introducing to Anthony right now. It's called Name This Player. And I'm going to give you the stats of a player, and you're going to tell me, and it's going to give you the years that and the teams that he played for. So don't worry about that. Let's get to that one right now. Here's the first one. I think you're going to get all three of these. I didn't make them too hard today.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with this one first. Anthony, we got a guy right here. He started his career with the New Jersey Devils, and he actually ended it with the New Jersey Devils. Oh, sorry, the Philadelphia Flyers, by mistake. Also played for Edmonton, Calgary, Minnesota, and the New York Islanders. Anthony, name this player.
I can't see anything. How am I going to?
You can't see it?
No, I can barely. So,
all right, he started with the Devils. He ended up going to Vancouver, then the Islanders, Calgary, Edmonton, Minnesota, where he had his career best season. Then Chicago, Colorado, back to New Jersey, and Philadelphia.
Mick Vukota.
No.
Rich Pilon.
No.
Marty McGuinness.
He won a Stanley Cup with the New Jersey Devils.
Travis Green. Jim
Stanley
Cummins.
Cup with
Jim
No.
Cummins. Vladimir
No,
Malakov.
he started with the Devils. He started with the Devils.
Darius Kasparaitis.
No, he started with the Devils.
Have you caught on yet that I'm just screwing with you?
Yes.
All right. It's Jim Dowd.
Yeah. Guest of the show, Jim Dowd. And let me just scroll down and show you guys. There he is right there. This is one of Anthony's favorite Puckdoku guys. So there's his Puckdoku man right there. Let's go to the next one. And by the way, I am giving you an Islanders Rangers tint to this.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another one. Let's see if you can see this one. Sorry, Anthony. I forgot you're outside. So it's a little bit harder. Here's one. He started his career with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Then he went to the Chicago Blackhawks. He is a former 40-goal scorer. He's done it with the Blackhawks, the Islanders, and then he was just a reliable goal scorer playing for the Maple Leafs, Blackhawks, Islanders, Devils, Maple Leafs again, Blackhawks again, Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, and the Detroit Red Wings. Anthony, name this player.
Mike Bossy.
Just say the real guy.
Steve Thomas.
It is Steve Thomas. It is correct. I know. I told you you're going to get all these pretty easily. Yeah, Steve Thomas, always a good one. You like using him in Puckdoku, especially for the Blackhawks. So, let's get to this last one. We'll pick better players eventually, Anthony, and give you. I'll try to give you the screenshot of it. Here's a guy. He started his career with the New York Islanders. He was 5th in Calder Trophy voting his first year. Then he went on to Montreal, had a little skiing incident, supposedly, and then went to the New Jersey Devils, the New York Rangers, and then to the Flyers and back to the Devils. I believe he's won a Stanley Cup. Yeah, he won a Stanley Cup with the New Jersey Devils. Anthony, name this player.
So Islanders, Maple Leafs, Canadians.
No, never Maple Leafs. Montreal.
Oh, Montreal, New Jersey. Bates Battaglia. No,
not Bates Battaglia. No.
Oh.
All right.
Oh,
I think you got him. You're screwing with me again.
No, hold on. I don't know this guy. So 92, 93, his first year at the. Then he went to play for the Canadians. Played for the Rangers.
Yeah, by the way, Steve Thomas was from the UK.
What does that say? His last year was the Devils 05-06?
05-06, that's correct. And he was on the Devils 2000 Stanley Cup team.
Vladimir Malikov.
Ding,
No?
ding, 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 ding. See, I knew you were going to get Malikov eventually. I knew you were going to get it because I was ready to give you the hint of traded with a guy that did not want to be a New York Islander.
Yeah.
Because Kirk Muller really soured with the Islanders in that.
He had a big shot, Malikov.
Oh yeah, huge.
He could really let it rip.
Yeah, and I mean, great passer too. His first season, he signed with the Rangers, played 3 games his first season. I didn't even remember that. All right, Anthony, you want to do a quick Puckdoku?
Yeah, but why don't you show the State War matchup again, just to break it down and see what our viewers think. You're muted. You're muted.
I know. I tapped my mic for a second and it unplugged. We got to do a full show of these and get those graphics done. But let me give you guys a little bit of a preview of this. So we went through some of these. If you saw our Instagram, we're going to be taking your opinions on a lot of these. If you saw on our Instagram, Anthony had Team Michigan, and this was them. That's a pretty formidable lineup. And the source we always used on these was Quant Hockey. This is Team New York. The note on the bottom says Jonathan Quick is borrowed from Connecticut. Team Massachusetts, which we showed Alex Jeffries earlier. And, of course, Team Minnesota. So, Anthony, you're one of the matchups we got working, Team Minnesota versus Team Massachusetts. In that case, who do you got?
I think so Massachusetts' goalie would be Joey Decord. I think their lineup overall, like their depth, I think is certainly better. But in a 7-game series, I'm not sure if that goaltending would hold up. So if you want to show flesh Minnesota's again, I think with having Jake Ottinger in goal, who's very good, I still think Minnesota would win, even though they don't have, like, for instance, the depth. The fourth line really isn't that great. The third line, even that second line. I mean, Wheeler and Oposo might be finished. You're really talking that first line and then Middlestat, and their defense is good, but Ottinger is the better goaltender. So I would say Minnesota would beat Massachusetts in a 7-game series if I had to break it down.
That first line, Massachusetts could throw out there, and that second line really should terrify a lot of teams. Anthony, I had Joey Decord around, I want to say, late February as a dark horse Vezina candidate. That's how good he was playing last season. He fell off as well as all of Seattle did.
Yeah.
Joey Decord, I'm not sure if he's really that much of a hindrance. Let me just flash Massachusetts again. I like their D better. I like Massachusetts in this over Minnesota's D.
You like their D? No, I see. I disagree. I mean, so Massachusetts, their bottom pairing defense was
Henry and Justin Falk.
What?
It's Keandre Miller and Justin Falk.
That's Minnesota, but I'm talking Massachusetts. I think Minnesota's D is actually better overall. So that third pairing is Jordan Harris, who's still a young guy, and then Thrun, and then even Grizzlick's not. I mean, Carlson and Hannafin are great, but if you go back to Minnesota's defense, Minnesota has Brock Faber, who's excellent as a rookie. Ryan McDonough's a little older, but he's still good. I mean, Ryan Lindgren, Nick Leddy still has speed. Keandre Miller's young. Justin Falk is still. I think Minnesota's defense is better than Massachusetts overall.
I think if you look at those matchups, I think that Kreider, Eichel, Vetrano line is going to be tough for Faber and McDonough, especially if this is Ryan McDonough 4 years ago. Let's say, I think it's a little bit easier to go. McDonough's going to be fine, but I'm not exactly seeing it as much. I mean, And you know what? While we're right here, Anthony, let's do Massachusetts versus Michigan. I'd rather do a full detailed show on this, but so you got this is the New York. Sorry, Michigan versus New York. I mean,
Yeah.
That first pairing, Fox and McAvoy. Wow, Brett Pesci, another good one. Putting him with Shattenkirk would kind of help it.
Yeah, but that if you look at New York's roster here, that bottom pair defense really isn't great.
Right.
And then the goaltending. I mean, Quick.
Yeah.
And then Kincaid, who's I mean, I like their first line. I even like their second line. Palmieri, Pinto, Iafallo. I think that's a very good second line.
Joel Farabee and Sonny Milano on your third line.
Yeah,
they're going to bruise some people.
Yeah, Jack Drury. And then the fourth line is not bad. Miles Wood has a lot of speed. He's a physical guy. Kevin LeBlanc's still looking for a team. He's a free agent, but he's not a bad player. And then Nick Foligno is okay. But their goal if you slash Michigan,
yeah. By the way, I can't believe Kevin LeBlanc is still looking for a team right now.
I think once you flash it, so our viewers can see it. I think I think Team Michigan would smoke us, New York. Unfortunately, I mean Hellebuck is he's one of the best goalies in the league. And look at their top six. I mean Kyle Connor is a 40-goal scorer. Dylan Larkin, DeBrincat, teammates in Detroit, they're excellent. And even Rust, Norris, they're very good players. I mean Nick Robertson isn't so good, but Frank Nazar on the third line, he's a good, exciting young player. Dakota Joshua, Kopp. Their fourth line isn't that bad. Mott, Glendening, Cotter, that's your typical fourth line. But I think the difference there is goaltending again. I think Connor Hellebuck in goal. I think Michigan would beat New York in 7 games. I would say Michigan. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say Michigan would win 4-1.
Wow. All right. Wow.
Yeah.
I like New York's. I actually like New York's lineup, and I think maybe you split up Fox and McAvoy, and then you have 2 great pairings. Then you get a guy that's reliable, like a Zach Bogosian, to go with them. Now you're not talking about that third pairing being so weak anymore. That you got 2 elite defensemen that are on there, and they are elite. I think that's how you switch it up. Yes, goaltending is a problem, because technically speaking, Keith Kincaid is not retired, and he's the only goalie from New York.
Yeah.
And they had to borrow Jonathan Quick. But I'm not sure they get smoked because, again, Connor Hellebuck's been having trouble in the playoffs. So I think that's really a good thing. Guys, we're going to be doing more of these. We're gonna do a full episode of this. Anthony's got Team Saskatchewan versus Team Ontario. Team Ontario is versus the rest of the world. The rest of the
world.
Northeast, I think. Yeah,
not world.
America. That's it.
Rest of the U.S.
America.
Yeah,
I think that's quite a game. Team Ontario versus the rest of America. All right, Anthony, let's do a quick Puckdoku, and then we'll get out of here for today. First off, once again, everybody, thanks for joining us in this special episode because it's great to have everybody joining us, and it's great to have guests, Doku, Com. All right, so we have Puckdoku. All right, and Anthony, let me share this now for us. And we also got I'm not sure if we got the pyramid today. I don't think we do. Just a community.
No, the pyramid is every Monday they release a new one.
Okay. So here we go, Anthony. We have on the top row, Flyers, defenseman, 500 games played. On the side row, Blackhawks, Red Wings, and Los Angeles Kings. So, as I think one of the guys said it on here, if you know Flyers defenseman. And again, guys, thank you very much, everybody. I think it was Wicked that said that if you know Flyers defenseman, it should be really easy. So, all right, Anthony, where do you want to go first? Do you want to go Blackhawks versus Blackhawks in the Philadelphia Flyers? Thank you.
So,
couldn't get the words out.
As you know, when I do mine, I always do all Islanders to make it even more challenging. So
Yeah, I never got to do my all Rangers one yesterday.
so for Chicago and Philly, oddly enough, I have Jim Dowd in that first one. Yeah,
good
yep.
one.
Yeah,
0.6%.
yes.
Chicago defenseman.
I went with Chris Campoli.
Chris Campoli was a very underrated defenseman for the New York Islanders in the dark days of the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah.
500 games played.
For Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
I went with former Islander Joe Ricci.
Wow, you went Joe Ricci. I was thinking Brent Sutter for a minute.
That would be way too high.
Yeah, probably. Joe Ricci, always a good one. All right, a Philadelphia Flyer and Detroit Red Wing.
I mean, come on. You know who I went with here.
The Daily Didick?
No, he didn't play. Daily Didick didn't play for either of those teams, you buffoon.
Constant Crossman?
Yes, I did. Doug Crossman.
There you go. There's Doug Crossman.
Doug Crossman.
So I went with the Daily Didick first on that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Islander defenseman that played for the Red Wings. I'm guessing you went with Uwe Krupp.
I did not. I went real obscure, and I went Anders Miervold.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Came first one. 0.1%. I can't believe that. I'm pretty sure Anders Miervold didn't even think of that one. 500 games played. Red Wings and Islanders.
I went with Matthew Schneider.
And I think that's a very good one. Just do Schneider.
Yeah, exactly. Wicked. Who I just remembered him. He was like he's like an Islander very briefly, the early 2000s. Yeah, pulled that one out of my rear end.
Yeah, I did have Uwe Krupp on the Red Wings. Okay, good. I was right. Okay. Flyers and LA Kings. Now, let me try to guess this former Islander defenseman, Alexei Zhitnik.
No, I did not go with Alexei Zhitnik, although it's not a bad one. I went with Gary Galley.
I completely forgot Gary Galley played for the New York Islanders. All right. A defenseman that played for the LA Kings.
So for this one, I went with former Islander Russian defensive prospect. His initials are DG. Can you figure out who it is, Mark?
It's not Dennis Gurianov, I can tell you that.
Oh, no.
DG.
G.
Oh, I'm blanking on this right now. DG?
Yes, DG. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
He was in the trade with the Los Angeles Kings and the Islanders that included Brent Sopel and Mark Parrish going to the LA Kings.
DG. That was. Whoa! Oh God!
Another hint: Jeff Tambellini came back the other way with him to the Islanders.
Yeah, because I remember when I go through the 2003 draft, I always go with
Another hint: when the Islanders traded him away to the Edmonton Oilers, it was for Marc-Andre Bergeron,
which was another guy from the 2003 NHL draft.
So Wicked has his first name here. That is correct.
Hold on, let me go back. Yeah, Dennis something. All right, yeah, it's obviously Dennis. I want to get this without thinking, because I mean, for a second, I thought you were going to say the Josh Green deal.
I just said it. Grabeshkov. Dennis Grabeshkov.
Dennis Grabeshkov. Wow, I completely forgot that guy even existed. Yep, there he is, Grabeshkov. 0.1%. And our last one, an LA Kings / New York Islanders 500 games played in their career.
All right, Mariota. For this one,
Yeah.
I went with this particular Islander defenseman who came to the team in 2014, 2015 season. Offensive defenseman. And the hint is Tom Wilson took him out with a hard hit behind the net in the playoffs against Washington in the first round.
I'm also thinking that he scored an overtime winner, correct?
He was Thomas Hickey's defensive partner that year.
Oh, all right. So it's not Thomas Hickey who you're going with on this.
No. He was Thomas Hickey's partner, and Tom Wilson knocked him out of the series.
Tom Wilson knocked it out of the series, huh?
Wicked has the answer in the comments, but
oh boy. You know what? I should have remembered that because he was one of two guys that I talk about with this that refused to come to the Islanders. Evgeny Nabokov was one of them around this time. And Evgeny Nabokov basically said, I'm not going to the Islanders, I'm not going to the Islanders, I'm not going to the Islanders. Well, you're going to have to go to the Islanders. So then they sent him to the Islanders, and then he came here, and they loved it here. And then I think he even re-signed for an extra year, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Lubomir Visnovsky, yeah. He's and there it is, Visnovsky. And hell of a time. Now, we ended up getting a 1 for Gary Galley.
Yeah, I guess so. On mine, it's funny. On mine, he was 1.0, so it still came out to an overall score of 0.
Well, we obviously had a
but I'm not see, Mariota, I always like to keep you on your toes, and I'm not letting you off the hook. I want you to bring back a new Puckdoku. Open it up.
Okay, let's go.
Open it up.
And let me get back on that puck.
I know everyone likes when I give you the business. It's comedic purposes. So bring it up here, Mariota.
Yeah. My fiance loves it when you're doing that. Okay, I got it right here.
All right. I want you to. I mean, I'll assist you, but I want you to try to come up and do an all Rangers one right now.
All right, all Rangers.
Flyers, Blackhawks, huh?
Yeah, I gotta start with Flyers, Blackhawks, of course. Yeah, because I'm blanking at the moment on everything.
Blanking already.
I'm blanking because my brain already shut down. Wasn't even thinking. All right, let's go with the Chicago Blackhawks. We're gonna go with Michael Roosevelt. Oh wait, 500 games played in their career. They just got to be anything. Doesn't have to be defenseman. So we could go Wayne Presley.
Who?
Wayne Presley. Wayne Presley was a winger for the New York Rangers.
There you go.
Give me 0.0.
All right.
Detroit Red Wings, 500 games played in their career. And a New York Ranger, I will go with Mike Knuble. And Los Angeles Kings. I'm actually going to go Peck Honecker.
I was going to go Matthias Nordstrom.
Nah, I think too many people are going to say that one. Because, again, there's going to be those, the people that are going to know Matthias Nordstrom because he was a captain. Some people would, obviously that would be high on this. All right, anyway.
You could do Matthias Nordstrom right here.
Yeah, it's gonna be too high. He was a team captain.
Was he?
Oh. How about a guy we were talking to, trying to get him on the show, and we could get him on at any moment? Tom Laidlaw. Detroit Red Wings. and
You
a New
could-
York Ranger. Let me go with Ulf Samuelson.
You could have gone Matthew Schneider too.
Could have gone. You know what? I could have gone Matthew Schneider. Which one do you think is going to be lower?
I think they'll both be low.
0.4 for Ulfie.
There you go.
All right, defenseman. There he is, Michael Roosevelt. And he got a 1? Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
All right. A Philadelphia Flyer, an LA King, and a former New York Ranger. And by the way, guys, I'm on the Puckdoku thing. I'm not even looking at the
King,
screen right now.
King, Flyer, and a Ranger.
King, a Flyer, and Ian LePerriere.
There you go.
And a guy that Neil Smith spoke about. Okay, a Detroit Red Wing and a Flyer.
This is a good question right here.
This is a good one.
For Puckdoku, is it the percentage that they show overall times a player has been chosen, or is it specifically for that spot on the board?
I think it is for that spot on the board
Yeah.
where they've been chosen.
Yeah.
I have a guy in mind for the Flyers. I just want to make sure.
Are you doing Flyers Red Wings right now?
Yeah, but unfortunately, the guy for the Flyers isn't right. Guy that I had was Kelly Kissio. He never played for the Flyers.
No, he did not.
However, I do believe I got this one. It's a defenseman. And, oh, no, he never played. Oh, he played for the Kings and the Flyers. I never played for the Blackhawks. I had Michel Petit. So I guess that is not going.
Oh, it's not a go, Mariota.
No, it's not a go. Not Michel Petit. Okay, so no, Batman. This is how I start thinking of players. Yeah. Batman. Hi, Al. I think I got another guy. I just want to make sure that I got it right. It's gonna be for a different square, but still. There's Chicago. Okay. Going with just New York Ranger. I hope it's gonna be low enough.
Who are you going with?
Wait. Oh, wait. Hold on. I had two different teams.
Yeah. Who are you going? Red Wings, Flyers? Who are you using?
Red Wings, Flyers. No, I was going to go Matthew Barnaby up here, but Barnaby didn't play in the Flyers. That was stupid. Imperial. I can't use Mike Knuble twice.
Did Kevin Miller play for the Flyers? I know he played for the Red Wings. He played for the Rangers. Did Kevin Miller play for the Flyers?
That's a good one. Kevin Miller, you always got that one holstered, and that's a good one.
Kevin
Miller definitely played for the Red Wings because I had him in NHL 93.
I don't think he played for the Flyers. I'm going to check.
I don't think he played for the Flyers either. I think he did. Michael Samuelson, guys, I don't believe he ever played for the Flyers. He played for the Red Wings. And by the way, Red Wings, yeah. But let me go with Samuelson just to kind of prove it. Because I think, he only played for Michael Samuelson, Detroit, the Rangers. See, when you add the wrinkle in of the third team, people forget what the actual question is. I almost did that just now, Anthony, about it being Matt Barnaby.
Oh.
How about one of your favorites you like to use? Bob Aaron. Played 1 year with the Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
He played with the Red Wings, but
for the
he did not play with the Flyers. Tim Kerr, I believe, only played with two teams, so it shouldn't be him. He did play a third year with the Hartford Whalers, but that's not really the answer. There's obviously Kim Janssen could be a selection. I think he did finish with the Blackhawks. Let's see that, and I'm correct. Kim Janssen.
Okay.
Kim Janssen is in the top square over here, Puckdoku. So Kim Janssen and a 0.3. And we just got this one left.
Rob DeMaio didn't play for the Red Wings.
Mike Peluso officially didn't play for the Rangers, but
No.
he was still acquired in an executive trade. But he didn't play for the Red Wings either. He got Chicago in there. There's a guy here that I'm not seeing. And yes, guys, Mike Knuble would have been there, but I used him over here. Let me see what the chat's saying right now. The mile.
I don't know if Dan Lacouture played for the.
Well, Dan Lacouture played for the Rangers. He played for the Devils, played for the Carolina Hurricanes. No.
Didn't play for the Flyers or the Red Wings.
No, Detroit. How about, and I'm throwing this one out there, Tim the Toolman Taylor, but he never played for anybody after the Lightning. I thought he might have been in there. His last square is a tough one because obviously we can name some guys that played. It's just
Corey Cross did not play for the Flyers.
Correct. He did not play for the Flyers, which is the actual question we need to solve. But how about this one? Bob Froese, goaltender. Let's see if he played for the Red Wings. He did not, just for the Rangers and the Flyers. And he's the last New York Ranger to wear number 35 before Mike Richter.
Hmm.
John Van Beesbrook wouldn't be in there.
No. Nope.
So I got to get away from goaltenders. I don't think Kevin Weeks ever played over there.
No, Kevin Weeks didn't know.
Yeah. Valaket. No.
Nope.
I gotta stop thinking of goalies. Because now I'm just thinking random guys, and that's not gonna help.
You're stumped on the Red Wings and the Flyers, my friend.
Well, because the added wrinkle is the Rangers guy.
You can't. You're having some serious issues.
I'm having some serious issues. Like I'm starting to think of like Eric Christensen.
No, he didn't play for the. I don't think he played for the Red Wings.
Yeah, he didn't play for the Red Wings. Something. Oh, well, you know what? Here's one guy. Let's just throw him out there. I don't think he's got it. John Ogrodnik.
No, I don't think he played for the Flyers.
I don't think he did. Yeah, Red Wings, Nordiques, Rangers, Red Wings. Let's go with Ray Shepard. Let's see if he made it all the way to the Flyers. He did not.
No.
Because I know he was Red Wings.
Well, you don't like him anyway.
Who, Ray Shepard?
Right?
Why don't I like Ray Shepard?
Yeah.
I am indifferent.
What?
That's much better to say. I am indifferent. Steve Ruchin only played for the Rangers and the Ducks, I believe. Oh wait, he did play at Atlanta.
What about Murray Craven? He didn't play for the Rangers, did he?
No, he didn't play for the Rangers. I don't think Sergio Momesso did. He
no, Sergio Momesso did not.
No, he was Rangers twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's a guy we're missing, guys. There's a guy we're missing, and we're taking up valuable time.
Well, what's happening right now is you are being stumped.
I am being stumped because we are trying to do this under the new parameters. I don't think Eddie Jacobin played for the Flyers. Yeah, just the Red Wings. And guys, remember, the question is actually Red Wings Flyers. We just added the Rangers on there. Then they need a former Ranger. Which I guess I guess, well, Ulf Samuelsson was there. He played his last year with the Flyers, but I already
Who?
used him. It's kind of making me wish I didn't. Oh, but
What about Mark Stahl?
son of a bitch, Mark Stahl.
I mean, it might be a little high, but
Yeah, I mean that is recent. Because I'm just thinking about that just now after you said it. I'm gonna take 30 seconds to try to think of somebody better. Because I don't think Mark Hardy. Nope, that's just the Kings and the Rangers. No Dougie Lidster. Okay, so I have. Son of a bitch. And I had Kevin Hatcher, but that's not going to fit. Yeah, Anthony, in the interest of the game, I got to go Mark Stahl. There's another guy. There's definitely another guy. So my one turned into a 4%er. Let's go with the stats on this one. Let's
click the Red Wings Flyers one and see if there's anybody. I don't really see anybody that played for the Rangers there that was better.
Oh,
right?
hold on. I think I might have seen one. Let me just check.
Ulf Samuelsson?
No, well, Ulf Samuelsson would have been there. Okay, good. I feel. Nope, Terry Karkner.
Terry Karkner,
and I knew it. Yeah. Terry Karkner would have played for both. Kyle Calder.
Yeah, you don't like Kyle Calder.
Constant Crossman. Brad McCrimmon, I think he actually would have fit into that category too, I think. I saw Anthony as soon as I saw Terry Karkner. Brad McCrimmon would have fallen into just the regular category, not the Rangers. I wasn't sure if Brad McCrimmon made his way to the Rangers at some point. Okay.
All right, Mark. It's been real.
All right. Guys, thanks for joining us for 2 Puckdoku games. The interview with Alex Jeffries and, of course, the first version of Name That Player that we're hopefully going to be getting all those cards soon enough. Maybe I'll text them to you guys so you can read them when we bring it up. So, all right. Guys, again, everybody, thank you very